You got me over here. Okay, you see right here, this is a decision from the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, that was given on January the 12th of 2016, correct?
Correct.
And what it appears to me is it looks that Griffin Transportation Operations, LLC, that's listed in San Antonio, Texas, was going to be re-entitled Dominion Logistics, LLC. Is that right?
Correct. So,
and if you do, could you please circle each fracture and describe it as you do so for the purposes of the record?
So this is a fracture.
And we're referring to states 5.
This is Exhibit 5. This is the left parietal calvarial bone. Yeah, it's hard to know with certainty what was the cause of this finding on the diffusion weighted imaging study, these areas of bright signal. Image from the MRI, and it demonstrates subdural collections just to orient. This is the eyeball. Here's the lens of the eye, and you can see the eyeball here. The white demonstrates the fat in the scalp of the baby, and this white up here is the cheek of the baby. So we're just a little bit, off of midline where we've incorporated one of the eyeballs. There's a large subdural collection that sits over the surface of the brain here.
Particular portion of this video, can you go forward all the way to 1 hour and 42 minutes? Okay, that's good. Just leave it there. We're good. Is that a note entered by you?
It is.
Okay, could you go ahead and read it for us?
The date is 8/8/03, and the time is 11:55, and it says prelim sono dash donor positive bladder, positive pockets of AF, which stands for amniotic fluid.
1373. Can you see that okay from where you're at?
Yes.
Sir, what's the exhibit number on there?
So this is Exhibit 9, but it bears the Prisbilla bait stamp number 1373. Okay, so on this diagram, we can see the crosswalk that we've been talking about, right?
Yes.
We can see the fire hydrant right here, right?
Yes.
And your catch basin is right there, right?
Correct.
To the crosswalk.
So are you referring to this area here?
That or the other side. Both give them an opportunity.
Over here?
Yep, both give them an opportunity to step off the curb and not through the ADA ramp into the crosswalk.
Well, you say step off, but if they stepped off, they'd be stepping in water. 15 in her deposition. So if we look at 15 here, at the top of the page, she states, but as I made my turn, I had to stop again because there was equipment that was like out a little more from where the workers were. So then as I was coming around, another car was coming the other way, and then they had to stop. So we all kind of had, it kind of looked like it was just chaos, just chaos. You see that?
Yes.
Yes. That'd be great, thank you. I was showing you, Dr. what has been marked as Exhibit 16, and this photo depicts the position of the Massetti truck as it came to rest, correct?
Correct.
put a copy of it in the viewer, and obviously you have it in front of you there, so however you want to look at the viewer or through in your binder, that's fine with me. Just want to cover some of your education and experience with you a little bit. And I noticed from your education, your background is in electronics and drafting, business management. Would that be fair as far as your formal education?
That would be correct.
Okay. Do you have any formal education, or are you degreed in any engineering specialties?
I am not, I do not have a degree in any engineering.
Mark this as Exhibit 5 to your deposition testimony. And putting it in the viewer, I want you to start on page 99 and read starting at line 10 and go all the way to page 100 to line 10. I want to put in the viewer a document I've labeled as Exhibit 7 to your deposition, and ask you if you would go ahead and zoom in for him so he can read that. Go ahead and read that to the jury if you would, sir. Mr. Sorensen.
Oh, do you want me to read it out loud?
Yes, sir. Read it out loud to the jury.
I was traveling on Highway 90 west to Del Rio, Texas. There was a slow-moving equipment on lane, and behind equipment was a pickup truck. I was traveling at highway speed. I remember looking to the left and see a vehicle. Then when I looked in front of me and reacted, I was ahead too close to the pickup truck and hit it in the back.
Have you seen this document before that is identified as the driver's report of accident at the scene?
I do not believe that I've ever seen that document.
Okay. And Dr. Reyes, looking at page 1, it says that the driver states he was driving down US 90 west and was looking out his mirrors to get over. When he looked back in front of him, he noticed he was really close to B2 and did not have time to stop and rear-ended B2, causing B2 to roll over once and then back onto its wheels.
You see number 21 that's
Correct.
highlighted?
Yes, I do.
That's a written request for all safety manuals,
Correct.
personnel manuals, and other documents indicating or discussing your procedures for inspecting and or shipping the pipe involved in the incident prior to transport. And if you read down, you'll see answering defendant is not in possession of any responsive documents. That's what you're telling us too, correct?
That's correct, yes.
You've independently verified. Aquatherm has no documents.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Didn't have them back in 2016 and doesn't have any today, correct?
On specifically unloading and shipping, correct.
Or inspecting.
That's actually probably accurate. You'd have to talk to my
Let's go to
client.
46. Aquatherm was asked for any communications, including but not limited to emails, by and between Aquatherm and Landstar related to the incident and or Mr. Shipman.
Correct.
Yes, and what I was doing was I was pointing out these attentional structures in the brain, where they are in the brain, and showing where we have dysregulation and activation there in those areas.
Okay.
Another biomarker that is very clear, like I pointed out here, are the subcortical regions. By subcortical, we just mean, oh, sure.
This and the following page show, do they show a number of images of the skull?
Of the brain, yes.
I'm sorry, the brain. And do these correspond in any way to the 6 tests or the biomarkers you've testified about?
It responds to the biomarkers.
Okay. And what is the relative comparison or significance of these diagrams as opposed to the graphs in Exhibit 3 or the model of the brain that you've been referring to?
So this is just a very nice picture form of the graph. So this just makes it easier for people that maybe aren't as medically associated to be able to see what we're talking about.
It is.
Like this?
Yeah, and if you'll just
like that?
show it with,
Oh.
thank you. And now, doctor, after the treatment, did you do any further fMRI testing?
Yes, nice to a side-by-side comparison. When you compare it to her first scan, can you see both of them? Okay, so this was her first scan before she started treatment, and she was at a 1.1. After treatment, she actually went down to a negative 0.56. Most patients don't get below 0, and so we usually don't report that. But in this case, she went to a negative 0.56, and she actually only meets one of the 5 biomarkers now of concussion now.
And which is that?
The subcortical, which, if we go here, I can show you, that's after treatment. And this was her subcortical findings before treatment. So if you notice there on that thalamus, that processing center of the brain is very low. And here,
you're referring to test number 1?
Test number
in the
1.
2 days. Okay.
And that thalamus has improved significantly. It was in the 3rd standard deviation, and now it's just about a half standard deviation outside of, it's about 1.5 standard deviations outside of normal.
Is that shown in any of the other tests?
That is the test that primarily looks at thalamus. However, these are other subcortical regions. So anything that's this pink or salmon color is a subcortical region. So that superior colliculus was also very low.
That is which one?
On exam 2,
exam 2, yeah.
number 5 there.
Okay.
You can see how that has improved. However, when you go to exam 4,
and this is in the December 1st scan?
Yes, okay. So,
which is known as scan 2 here?
Yes. So right here, this is her post-treatment scan. These subcortical areas of learning and memory are still not where they should be, but improved greatly from before.